WWE Royal Rumble 2025 is hours away, and I want to make some predictions. First of all, men's Royal Rumble. Who's going to win? CM Punk. It's the perfect story. CM Punk, all these years, dating back to when he first debuted in the WWE on the main roster in 2006 on ECW. All these years have gone by without him ever winning a Royal Rumble. He's been in a bunch of them. Most famously, the 2014 Royal Rumble, where that was his last appearance in the WWE before he walked out of the company, unhappy with the direction the company was going in. He was sick, he was tired, he was injured, and we never saw him for many years. And none of us ever thought he was going to come back to the WWE, but he did at Survivor Series 2023. He's had a great run since then, even though he got injured last year at the Royal Rumble. What a shame, because he probably could have main evented WrestleMania last year. So we know that CM Punk doesn't have a lot of years left. I mean, the guy has had a lot of injuries ever since he returned to wrestling in AEW in 2021. So we can't expect Punk to be around forever. So when they have the chance to put him in the main event of WrestleMania in a world title match, they got to pull the trigger as soon as possible. So I fully expect CM Punk to win the Royal Rumble for the first time. I also expect them to give him the number 30 spot because they don't want Punk getting injured again. I don't think they're going to take any chances. They're probably going to have him come to the ring, and maybe there might be only one other person or maybe three other people in the ring. You know, I don't think there's going to be too many people in the ring by the time Punk comes out because they really don't want to risk Punk missing out on WrestleMania again. So who are the final guys going to be? It's probably going to be the big names. I mean, it's going to be Punk, Cena, Reigns, Rollins, McIntyre, and I think that's going to be the final group, and then Punk will probably eliminate Reigns to win the whole thing, or maybe Cena. You know, imagine if the final two come down to Cena. I mean, that would probably produce the biggest reaction. If you have Punk, Cena, Reigns as the last three, Punk and Cena eliminate Reigns, comes down to Punk and Cena, I think that might be the best way to go. So Punk wins and heads to WrestleMania and probably wins the World Championship from Cody Rhodes. So that's my second prediction. For this show, there's going to be a ladder match between Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes. I expect Cody Rhodes to win this match. Now, would I like Kevin Owens to win? Absolutely, because Kevin Owens has never been given a run with the World Championship that was actually good, because we all remember he was Universal Champion, but it was a terrible run. If you remember, Finn Balor defeated Seth Rollins at SummerSlam one year to win the inaugural Universal title. He was the very first Universal Champion, but he immediately got injured in that match. So he had to relinquish the title, and then Kevin Owens won the title in a fatal four-way thanks to help from Triple H. And so right off the bat, it made him look like a weak champion. And that continued throughout his entire title run, right up to the end when he lost the title to Goldberg in a couple of seconds. So Kevin Owens' only world title run on the main roster in WWE was a joke. And Kevin Owens, who knows how many years he has left. He's been doing excellent work for years on the mic. He's had some great matches in the ring. But Kevin and Sami Zayn still have never become world champion on the main roster. It's just, they've never been in the right circumstances. They're always in the upper card or the main event mix, but they never win the big one. So it would be great if they swerved us and had Kevin Owens win here, maybe with some help from Sami Zayn. Do I expect Sami Zayn to come out during this match, in this ladder match? Yeah, I do, because they've been playing it up. But I don't expect Cody Rhodes to lose here, because they could do a thing where Kevin Owens wins and then Cody Rhodes wins it back on the road to WrestleMania. But, you know, Cody Rhodes is too important of a piece in the overall puzzle of WWE. I mean, he's the one who is like the biggest draw that they could possibly have as WWE champion right now. And he's only going to lose that title to someone who is equally as big of a draw, in my opinion. So I expect Cody Rhodes to win, face Punk at WrestleMania, because that's the money match. I mean, can you imagine the promos on the way to WrestleMania if it's Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk? We obviously got a glimpse of that earlier this week. There was an interaction between Cody and Punk. We saw a great segment between them last year before the Royal Rumble that everybody loved. So everybody wants to see these two have this match because of their connections to AEW and, you know, Cody Rhodes building the thing up. And a lot of people think when Punk was there that AEW fell apart, not because of Punk necessarily, but the issues between Punk and the people in charge of that company. It just, everything blew up. So you can make such a great story between these two guys, like the guy who created AEW and the guy who almost burned it down. I mean, you know what I mean. Not in real life. It's not Punk's fault, really, but you know what I mean. That's the story, right? So that's the great story they could tell. So Cody Rhodes wins, and as far as the Women's Royal Rumble, that's a little bit of a tougher one. Charlotte Flair is obviously returning in the Royal Rumble because they've announced it. She's had these vignettes. But I also think we're going to see Becky Lynch return in the Royal Rumble. I think the biggest match they could make is Becky versus Tiffany Stratton. Some people might say Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania. So I fully believe it'll either be Charlotte or Becky winning this thing. And I'm leaning towards Becky because they haven't announced her. You know, they've been playing up Charlotte coming back, but they've never mentioned Becky. And so Becky's going to get the big pop when she comes out in the Rumble, I expect. I mean, I don't have any inside information, but, you know, we know that Becky's got to be a part of this thing. And the perfect place for her to come back is the Rumble. And she's got to win. And seeing Becky versus Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania in a big-time match, that's something that a lot of people would want to see. We've seen Becky and Tiffany wrestle before in NXT, but, you know, not on the biggest stage. We haven't seen them do that. And Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton would be a fresh matchup, but do we really want to see that? And also, like, Charlotte Flair's a part-timer, and it's like, you know, having her come back and take a main spot on the card when there's so many other women in the WWE on the main roster who've been here year round, and they could have that spot against either Tiffany Stratton or Rhea Ripley. So I don't think it should be Charlotte Flair. I mean, I guess you could make the same argument for Becky, but, you know, Becky is money. I don't know if it's been proven that Charlotte is money. Maybe she is. I don't know. She's had great matches at WrestleMania. Her match against Asuka is probably one of my favorite WWE women's matches of all time. Maybe that probably is my favorite one I've ever seen. Charlotte and Asuka. That's as close to perfect of a women's match that you could ever see. But yeah, I'm going with Becky. And so those are my predictions for the main matches at the Rumble. And I think we're going to be in for some big surprises because they've done a good job of selling us on the unpredictability of the men's Rumble, because you got the issues between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins and CM Punk, Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre, CM Punk and Kevin Owens, CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. I mean, you got all this stuff going on. So everything is so unpredictable. And that's the way it should be. I mean, do I know for sure that CM Punk is winning the Rumble? No, because there's so many big names, but he's the guy to go with. I mean, he's the one of the main guys who hasn't won a Rumble ever. So Rollins has won a Rumble, Cena's won a Rumble, McIntyre's won a Rumble, Reigns has won a Rumble. So it's like he's the odd man out. He deserves this one, and that's the biggest news that would come out of this show. Like CM Punk won the Royal Rumble. Imagine that. 11 years after his departure, when the Rumble was the final match he competed in, 11 years later, he comes back, wins the whole thing. I mean, what a story, that wrestling fans will never forget. So this is going to be exciting. Can't wait for the show.